Hello, Steward. Thank you so much for joining me. It is class number 2, and we are looking at budgeting. All right. So I love calling it the SheStewards budgeting series, and I am Dr. Winnie Wamlanga, and today we will be discussing the most fundamental budgeting principle, and that is knowing your income and your expenses. All right. So it is, you might overlook it, but actually without knowing this, you will not even be able to budget, you will not be able to save, and you will not even be able to pay off your debt. All right. So before you can budget, before you can save, before you can build any wealth, you must understand what's coming in and what's going out. All right. So for this series, we will be incorporating Luke 14:28. That will be the fundamental scripture that we'll be using. The text says, "For which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost?" So, my friends, let's count the cost together today. All right? So, what is income? I know that you've heard about that, and I also know that you know the answer. Income is just any money that you receive. It can be consistently or you can receive it occasionally, but just know that income is something that comes in. All right? So there are 4 types of income. 1, there is the primary income, which would include your salary or your wages. And then 2, there is the secondary income, which would include freelancing work. You know, when someone tells you, do this work for me and I'll pay you this, do this project for me and I'll give you money. You agree on a certain amount of money for each project, and that's it. All right. This person is not your employer, and you're not their employee, but you have contracted that you're going to complete a particular project for them. All right. Then under secondary income, we have business profit. All right. Whereby you have a business and it gives you profit. Who doesn't like that? And then there is also tips in the secondary income and commissions. I wanted to point out that income is always given to us in blue or green because it's so good, right? We have passive income. This would include, when I talk about passive income, I mean, I'm referring to income that where you don't have to work. You've already worked, but now it's bringing in money for you. When you build your rental houses and you put tenants in, you don't need to go back work. You decided to work. You invested in it a lot of money, and you knew that after every month I'll be getting this amount of money. We also have Airbnbs where you can get money daily or weekly depending. Then also in passive income, there are dividends where you invest in stock or bonds, and this money comes to you. You know what? If you invested wisely, you should be able to get profit out of that. All right. Then there is affiliate earnings. But then number 4 is the unexpected income. These are gifts you receive from either your friends, family, colleagues, spouses, children, or even frenemies. There are refunds where you're given back money after maybe money is given back to you. You didn't expect it, but it's given back to you. It's a refund. And then bonuses, whereby if your company performs well, or if your industry or your group or you contribute something to the company over and above what is expected, money comes to you through bonuses. All right. So you need to ask yourself, what is my monthly sources? What are my monthly sources of income? Then remember, we talked about the book in the previous lessons, when I was telling, actually it was in the previous series. I said if you don't have the apps, if you have a pen, if you have a paper or notebook, those will be your best friends. All right, those will be your best friends in this journey. Just make a list. You need to be honest. Please do not include what you hope to receive. Okay? that will only be predictable. We know that SheStewards Financial Ministries is a biblical-based organization. We use biblical wisdom, but we also use practical tools. So it is wisdom. We don't use predictions, okay? So don't we believe in prophecy? Yes, we do. But right now we are trying to put what we are learning into practice. And so please do not say that it was prophesied upon me that I will get $1 million in next month, and so I'll put it in this or on this paper. Please, no way. That's not yet your income, okay? In the spiritual it is, but now we are in the physical, and we've agreed that we are practical. We use practical tools, and so that's what we are going to focus on in this series, especially for SheStewards Financial Ministries. All right. Don't we believe in prophecy? Yes, we do. But for these particular lessons, we'll be focusing on using the practical tools. All right. So then I want to caution you, my friend, that budgeting begins with truthful numbers. You're not going to start with wishful thinking and think you'll achieve anything. Okay? Again, you understand what I'm saying. Okay? So I've talked about income. Now we need to ask about ourselves. What are expenses? Expenses are everything you spend money on. This can be essentials and it can also be non-essentials. All right? Expenses are always written in red. I've not seen expenses written in green or blue, whichever, but maybe this is why I decided to wear the red series because not in a bad way, but I want you to know that, hey, anything that you spend money on, whether it's an essential or non-essential, it is an expense. All right. The categories are: 1, fixed expenses. These will not change. They are fixed. It's rent. It is mortgage, it's loan payments. Maybe you get a car and you agree that this is the amount that I'll be paying every month. The tithe, it is fixed. You can never have it at 5% or 15%. I have heard about people say that, but it's interesting, right? You set your own rules, you follow your own rules. That is disobedience, okay? Then there is insurance. Maybe it's a car insurance and you agree that per month this is what I'm going to pay, and that is fixed. All right. Number 2, there is the variable expenses. You're talking about food. You're talking about utilities. You're talking about gas, airtime, clothing. These can change. You can decide I'm not going to spend a lot on food this month. Maybe I'll spend less on utilities this month, or even on fuel. Instead of driving, I'll be taking a taxi. I'll be taking a bus or a train, whichever. Or clothing, I won't buy any clothes this month, or I'll buy just one instead of the 4 that I buy every month. All right? So it changes. Okay? Then 3, there are discretionary expenses. These will include entertainment. They will include eating out or dining out, and then also subscriptions. For many of us, we struggle financially, not because we don't make money, but because we don't know where it's going. And that's a painful truth. Whether you're a doctor of business finance like me, whether you have been in wherever maybe you're an accountant or whichever field you're in, planning or budgeting is hard. Okay? So here is the action step. I'm going to request you to track every expense for the next 7 days. Yes. I'm requesting that you use a notebook. Doesn't have to be fancy. Remember, we are working on saving our money. You can use a spreadsheet or an app, but I want you to write down. Use anything that you can. Use any resource or any tool available to you. Just write down your expenses for the next 7 days. You'll be shocked where your dollars are going. But Proverbs 27:23 reminds us, be sure to know the condition of your flocks, for riches do not endure forever. All right? So, we need to calculate the gap. Now that we know what income is, we know and our expense, we know about expenses. We actually know how much we get in, and we also know how much we push out. It is time to do the basic budgeting math. All right, my friend, income minus expenses can either be equal to surplus or deficit. How does it become a surplus? When you have more coming in and you spend less, that equals to surplus, all right? However, when you have less coming in and you spend more, that will lead you to deficit. And that deficit, in most cases, will push you into borrowing, into debt. If you haven't watched our debt management series, please watch those, because we need you to get into financial freedom. All right? So, if you have a surplus, praise God. I then request you to assign every extra dollar to a goal. I will get jazz in this series. I want you to assign one to savings, one to debt, and one to giving. You don't have to use a jar. I just love using jars. Some others use envelopes. I tried using the savings account. I would get the money out unless it's a fixed one. All right? So, if you have a deficit, my friend, please don't worry. Don't panic. It's just a starting point. It simply means that you must adjust. All right? The goal for us here is to reach a zero-based budgeting. Zero-based budgeting is where I believe I've talked to you about that. It is where every dollar is given an assignment. All right? So remember, a budget is not a punishment. It's just a plan. You tell your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. All right? So the tools to help us in this journey for us are here, and I'll share those. It is just 3. You can track your income and expenses using your pen and paper, or even a budgeting journal if you can afford one. Please don't say, I cannot afford the things that Winnie is telling us, and that's why I'm not going to to budget. No, please use a pen and paper. You can afford that at least. If you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching it, I know you can afford a pen and paper. All right. 2, spreadsheets. You can use Excel or Google Sheets, whichever you can use, as long as you can be helped. All right. 3 is the budgeting apps. I'm not going to tell you which one I use, but there are apps like Mint, Every Dollar, Good Budget, Monify. Please pick one that fits your lifestyle. Remember, consistency is more important than complexity. If you choose an app that is going to be hard for you to use, then it's going to be hard for you to budget. However, even if I have my journal, even if I have my pen, and I can use that consistently, that is all that we are required to do in this class. All right? So, remember that we have looked at things, we have known, let's have a recap. We now know where our our incomes from. We know our income right now, okay? You know you can track your expenses. You can calculate your gap. You can use simple tools. So then, what's your action step today? I am requesting that you'd write down all your income sources and expenses from the past 30 days. Yes, go back. This is how you build awareness. So drop down in the comment below, what's one thing that surprised you when you tracked your expenses? If you're not able to do that, you can always return. But remember, subscribe. Like this video if you found it helpful. That's all that we are requesting from you. We are not buying this content. We are not selling this content. It's free. It's available for you to learn. So then we expect something from you. Please share. If you found it helpful, share with anyone that needs this message. All right? See you in class number 3. And here we'll be looking at how to set realistic budgeting goals. Until then, stay blessed. Have a good one. Remember, I love you and so does God. Thank you. Bye.